Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and welcome back to our news series looking at Ultimate General Civil War from the Confederate side. We're playing through the Grand Campaign, fighting on the side of the Confederacy, and thus far we've known quite a bit of success. We've fought 4 battles, and we have won, 4 battles, and we've won every single one so far. In our last video, we successfully raided a convoy of Union supplies with our cavalry, and in this video, we're moving on to the Battle of the Supply Depot. So I assume, I'm not 100% sure, but I assume we'll be holding off enemy attacks which are designed to weaken our army ahead of the Battle of Shiloh. This is battle number 2 in the Shiloh campaign. This is the final of the minor battles before the Battle of Shiloh takes place, and in it we'll be on the defensive as the Confederacy. This is part 6 of our Confederate Let's Play, and this was taken from a live stream from just a couple of days, well, about a week ago. So this is something I'm, periodically at night I'm live streaming as I play through this campaign. The audio from this video is taken from the live stream, so there's a little bit of interaction with me and the audience and kind of just a more casual feel. As I've said a few times before, I am hoping to get into a little bit more historical depth, a little bit more meaty look at some, discussing and teaching certain historical topics within the vein of the Civil War, talking about the battles that will be playing out, but I'll also be mixing in these casual plays. So this series has been casual to this point, but shortly I'll be mixing in some other stuff. Additionally, I'm starting to mix back in, or if I haven't already, I will be starting to mix back in some other games as well. I don't want this to strictly be a Ultimate General channel. But with that being said, this video is Ultimate General, and we'll be taking a look at that here in the next 30 minutes or so. So I hope you guys sit back, enjoy, and with that being said, I'll turn it back over to my live streamy self back into the commentary. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you at the end. Okay, so General Johnston established his base at Corinth, Mississippi, in order to reorganize our western forces. We soon expect Yankee offensives into Tennessee, and we have to be ready. Corinth is a major railroad junction and a strategic supply position. You've been assigned to guard one of our supply lines, weak points, northwest of Corinth. Stay alert and prevent any raid into the area. Okay, so go ahead and deploy the 1st Corps there. We can't deploy everybody, but we can deploy 10 of our 12 brigades. We're going to skip the explanation. We're going to go ahead and just... I think we'll just keep the infantry that we start with in the battle. I'm going to go ahead and pause and issue orders. I don't like this defensive position. I've played this battle twice now, once when the game was in early access, and once when it was not. This particular defensive position seems very weak to me because the enemy tends to come up here on your right and actually flank you a bit, and this position always seems to get overrun. This fence position, however, always does very well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the Lorenz Brigade, we're going to put Race Brigade with smoothbores on this fence line. We're then going to put Stonewall's Brigade here, I think a little into these woods, maybe, where they've got some good cover. We're going to put the Texas Brigade into the woods over here, where they've got good cover. And then we're going to put the Lorenz Brigade into this wood line over here, where they've got good cover, because a large number of the enemy troops come here. So we've got those forces deployed here on the north end of the area. We're going to put the artillery here into this wood line here. And maybe it actually, if we're going to send those guys forward, maybe it does make sense to have one of those brigades. Because this is a short line for 2 brigades to cram into. So maybe we'll put the Texas Brigade here. We'll put the Stonewall Brigade actually in these defenses. But there will be troops out front that'll be kind of helping shield their flank. The Mississippis we've left for now. I think we'll have them kind of in reserve. Maybe we move these. I don't know where to put these guys. You know what? No, we're not going to put those guys into the defensive works. We're going to put them in these woods. Let's see. Well, I guess we'll just put the Mississippis here, kind of guarding our rear. They'll act as kind of a reserve as well, in case the enemy tries to come up behind us. So everybody's moving. The butcher will go over here. That's me. Artillery's going to get moving. And let's see. I'm not sure. Again, it's tempting to put them here, but you really don't get much of a cover bonus. You're actually better off in this wooded area. So we'll just get everybody into position and we'll kind of see what we need to do from there. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll split some skirmishers off the Stonewall Brigade and put them in this defensive position. We'll go ahead and break some skirmishers off here so we can fill in all of these positions. Again, at least to prevent the enemy from pestering us too much, because I know there's some enemy infantry that show up here, some cavalry here from the west. Texas Brigade is in good positions. The Stonewall Brigade probably better off here, actually. Go ahead and put them... They're just the issue there is they're a little bit far forward, a little bit exposed. We'll kind of see. I think this will actually... The homes here will give them really good cover. Actually, maybe we do that for these guys, too. It's a little bit far forward for my taste, but homes usually give... Well, maybe not. You usually get really good cover when you're in these buildings. Let's see here. We may need to pull back to the woods. Just this location is really tempting because the enemy's literally going to be exposed, like out in the middle of nowhere, all by themselves. The only issue is, again, so they're going to be out here in the open. But of course, they'll probably charge us. You can see your cavalry's kind of probing us from that direction. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll put the skirmishers in the farm here. Go ahead and pause. We'll pull the Texas Brigade back. But we'll leave some skirmishers here. And there you get better... You've got a better view of what's coming at you with those skirmishers out there. We'll also break some skirmishers off the Lorenz Brigade and put them over here to try and help prevent being flanked. Mississippi Brigade with their good weapons are going to come up here and support. One of these new brigades is going to kind of fill into their position. And I think I should have some cavalry coming up as well. Oh no, maybe not. I'm not sure. Because we don't get all of our troops in this particular fight. What guns are these? 6-pounders? Good. They've got a little bit better range. Okay, these guys have 100% cover. And so do these guys. So the skirmishers get really good cover in those positions, which is nice. They've also got really good lines of sight. I think we'll want to bring some artillery up as well into this wood line. Stockton will go ahead and advance, and Lane will sweep out the cavalry with 2 brigades of infantry coming up in support. See if they try and go around our flank. You can see here our skirmishers are already firing on the enemy. They're going to have to expose their flank a little bit. Reinforcements are coming up here. They should sweep this cavalry away without too much challenge. Wow, the Texas guys are taking a little bit worse than I would have thought with 100% cover. I guess they are kind of exposed. There's 2 large artillery batteries firing at them as well. And they're actually not shooting. Okay. More infantry spotted. These guys will shift. Stockton will come up in support. Butler's going to move into these. And we're going to try and sweep these enemy skirmishers off our flank. Yeah, these guys aren't in range. That's why they're taking more casualties. The Lorenz skirmishers are doing fantastic work thus far. Okay, we'll sweep up their flank here. Sweep away these skirmishers with relative ease. We can move up and flank if we have to. So far, so good. Move that artillery into this wood line over here. These are howitzers, so they'll do better in close range work. And they won't be quite as effective in long range work. I don't want to get you in range of those large enemy infantry brigades in the open. We'll actually have you guys all fall back. Kind of driven the skirmishers off, as I was hoping. Meanwhile, we've got some infantry and defenses dealing with some threats from enemy cavalry here. These guys have Lorenzes? No, good. They've got Mississippis. Those are cheaper to replace. Okay, so Lynch's battery is going to go into position here to provide some support. Moore's battery is continuing to do good work. And we're holding the line for the moment. The enemy does want to advance. If MacArthur's going to come up here and threaten, we're going to have 3 brigades that can threaten either Tuttle and MacArthur's flank if they try and make an effort on this fence line here. And hopefully we can enfilade them. Meanwhile, Stonewall's brigade is doing well. Texas skirmishers are just kind of dying from artillery fire. But again, they're holding back enemy troops. So, Thomas, I haven't really had a chance to give naval action a fair look. So it's hard for me to say whether it's as good as this. I kind of sailed around a little bit, but I haven't really... I think I've got like 45 minutes in the game. Okay. Best Age of Sail combat game ever made? I don't know about that, Shroomy. I think Age of Sail 2 was pretty damn good. Way back in the 90s by Talonsoft. I used to play the hell out of that game. Alright, you guys are gonna maybe fall back. I don't see the point in losing more casualties just to lose them. Not really sure. Alright, Lane, we don't need you over here. We've got Stockton, who's actually in reasonably good defensive terrain. Hexamer, who's kind of linking up with Wraith. I think we'll move Lane around here. He'll be in reserve. The Mississippi Brigade will go help out against Hare. Okay. Naval Action's probably the best open world Age of Sail game. That's probably a fair statement in my view. What do these guys have again? Lorenzes? Go figure. The Lorenz Brigade has Lorenzes. Alright, we can probably fast forward a bit here. The enemy's not aggressively assaulting us yet. Move our supply wagon up here to replenish our artillery. We'll move into these woods here in case the enemy wants to move in behind us. We've still got this Butler's brigade that's largely doing nothing. Let's see if the enemy makes a big effort now. Hexamer, you're going to fire into MacArthur's flank as he charges Wraith. Butler, you're going to come up here and provide support and fire into the rear of anyone who charges there. Stockton lost a little bit, but fundamentally drove Wraith back. There we go. Butler. Whoops. Whatever. Alright, so that assault was thrown back. I'll go ahead and pull the Texas boys out. Oh boy. See if that prompts them to launch an assault now that we've abandoned that farmhouse. So far, the enemy's just kind of letting us do what we want to do. Oh. Another charge coming in this way. Go ahead and stop the fast forwarding here. I think the interesting piece that this game really helps capture from a gameplay perspective, especially the way that Civil War, Ultimate General Civil War is modeled versus Gettysburg, is the army management is really interesting. And I think if you covered the Mexican-American War, the Revolutionary War, the Napoleonic Wars, it would be tough to capture that same interest because you don't have the same diversity of weaponry in those conflicts as you had in the American Civil War. The fact that the American Civil War occurred at a period of time when technology was rapidly changing makes army organization interesting. And makes it the kind of thing you want to try and capture, because you've got to make trade-offs. Do I want, cheaper, good, less effective weapons for a larger army? Do I want really high-quality weapons? Do I want kind of a mixture? Do I want rapid-firing weapons like repeaters, but they're really hard to keep supply? Or am I content with slightly slower reloading weapons? The Civil War has a really interesting and diverse weapons portfolio that a game like this wouldn't capture in the Mexican-American War or the Napoleonics. Okay. Alright, so Wraith's gonna keep charging and fundamentally keep dying. He's gonna keep exposing his flank to Hexamer and keep getting butchered as he tries to kind of close up. The enemy should try and flank us if they're really serious about this. But we've deployed our troops in a way that the AI doesn't seem too intent to challenge, which I'm okay with. Move Fife up to reload these guys. Oh, wait. So Hare's coming in and charging Stonewall. Stonewall's brigade has Lorenz's. But we've got the Texas Brigade and a battery of artillery here close in that can provide some support. And Hare quickly is driven back. Okay. Now move back in your original position, Stonewall Brigade. There you go. Hare's brigade being decimated. This isn't very much of an active defense on my part, frankly. Had European weapons a large impact in the Civil War? Sort of. So the Lorenz weapon that Stonewall's brigade has, these are Austrian-made weapons. The Enfield, which was the sort of best weapon that the Confederacy had en masse, the Enfield rifled musket was the Confederacy's weapon of choice. The Union, by the end of the war, the Union was much more relying on domestic weapons like the Springfield and the various variants of that. But at the outbreak of war, European weapons definitely had a huge impact because neither army was able to get enough weapons in order to equip their forces. So you saw massive import orders that were placed. The Austrians were bringing Lorenzes out of surplus. There were some really good ones. There were some really crappy ones that were just quickly thrown together. You had the United States buying, the Union buying a whole bunch of Enfields to try and keep them out of the hands of the Confederates, while also using them to equip their troops. The Confederates trying to buy large numbers of Enfields. You had Whitworth sniper rifles and a handful of Whitworth artillery pieces. There was just a lot of variety in the Civil War. Thomas, there's one battle in this game that looks at the Atlantic campaign, but in general, you're right. There's a few games that I think sort of indirectly touch on it. I want to say there's a campaign series game that does focus directly on the Atlantic campaign, but there's not much out there for the Atlantic campaign, frankly. Okay. Which is kind of a shame, because the Atlantic campaign, you may or may not like Sherman, but that was a brilliantly executed campaign from the Union perspective, constantly turning Joseph E. Johnston out of strong positions without the bloodbaths as occurred in the Overland campaign. Granted, Sherman wasn't up against the same kind of opponent as Lee was, who was much more willing to engage in bloody engagements, where Johnston really wasn't. But in general, the Atlantic campaign was a really underappreciated period in the Civil War that had some really interesting engagements and some really high-quality maneuver executed by Union forces. Sherman also had the advantage of a lot more real estate to work with. Grant was more bottled up with the coast on one of his flanks that didn't really allow him as much room to maneuver. Okay, so we won the battle, I think. Finish. Victory! All right, stay alert. We won the battle. And we lost only 651 infantry lost. That is efficient work. Nearly 5-to-1 casualties against the Union versus what we suffered. In terms of goods, we rescued some of our own 1842s, some Lorenzas, some Mississippis. We also captured some 1842s, captured some Sharps and Colts. So overall, not a windfall in terms of captured weaponry or casualties, but we barely lost anything. So there you go. We lost 600 men. We got 5,000 replacements, so a substantial increase in the number of men versus what we lost. Additionally, $84,000 and 1 career point. So we're going to go ahead and use that 1 career point to bring our army organization up to 5, which will allow us to add 1 brigade to every division. And then we're also going to go ahead and add reinforcements. So you can see here we lose a little bit of experience, but not much by replacing our losses here in the Stonewall Brigade. And then we can go ahead in the Lorenz Brigade as well and replace our losses. We just have barely enough weapons to replace our losses there. The Texas Brigade, we will likewise replace our losses at rookie. Actually, I'm just going to do everyone as rookies. There's just no one lost enough to make it worthwhile to use veterans, frankly. And several units actually had their officers promoted, so now we have some traits that we can award to these troops, which will make them much more effective going into the Battle of Shiloh. So here you go. You can see Wraith was, I don't know if he was promoted. I didn't check, but I believe he's promoted. That's why you get that 1 trait. And we're going to go with discipline training for all of our infantry. For our artillery, we're going to go with logistics. It gives them more ammo and makes them more efficient. And again, for infantry, we're going to go with discipline, which gives them efficiency and morale, which for some of these units that have lower quality officers will help overcome the penalty associated with having a too large of a unit with too inexperienced a commander. So there you go. We've got all of our troops at full strength. It's now just a matter of equipping the new brigade. So we're actually going to move the Texas Brigade with its Mississippi rifles up into the 1st Division, so that entire 1st Division is rifle-based. And then we're going to move Hexamer's Brigade into the 2nd Division, and we'll go ahead and build a couple new brigades. Additionally, where are we with artillery? Do we have anything in the armory? No, we don't. We have 9 Napoleons that we could purchase. We could use 9 reputation to purchase some 12-pound Napoleons, which I'm going to do. So we're actually going to use some reputation here. We're going to be kind of at risk. No morale impact, but the reputation at 28 is pretty low. But I want to use that reputation to buy an artillery battery for the 3rd Division. Right now we've got cavalry in the 3rd Division, so it's a little bit weaker. We've got artillery in each of the first 2 divisions. So I'm going to go ahead and build a new cavalry, or new artillery brigade. We're going to put a major in charge. It'll be King. And then we're going to go ahead and go with the Napoleons, because we've got 8 in our armory, because we used that reputation to buy some. And then we're also going to go ahead and buy an additional 8 to have a 16-gun battery. This is going to be our best artillery battery in terms of the quality of the weapon. The Napoleon was the best, it was the best main field piece for close-in work during the Civil War. It'll cost us $12,000. That's fine. 400 recruits. That's fine. And apparently, a major is too low of a rank to command it without some pretty hefty penalties. So actually, we're going to go ahead and put a lieutenant colonel in charge. And even he's still receiving an efficiency penalty. So why don't we go ahead and put a full bird colonel, as I spend a whole bunch of money on officers. Full bird colonel, no penalty there. Additionally, we get a little bit of a perk because of his rank. He's a 1-star unit. So just like that, we've got 48 artillery pieces now in our command. We also just purchased a couple of officers now, so we're going to go ahead and replace Butler, who's getting a penalty because his brigade is too large, with Miggott because, well, he's a higher rank and there's no penalty now. So we just replaced one of our majors commanding an infantry brigade, and that's that. So let's see here. What do we have in the armory? We've got enough 1842s to equip another brigade. Do we have any other units that we can equip more brigades with? Or more troops with? We don't have anything else that's over 2,000, which is kind of lame. 3rd Division, let's go ahead and recruit an infantry brigade. We're going to give them a lieutenant colonel. It's going to cost us $2 grand, but the weapons are going to be free because they're in stock, so we'll do that. All right, any penalty here? No penalty, good. So the 3rd Division's built out, and now we just need one more brigade in the 2nd Division to have a fully strengthed 1st Corps for the Battle of Shiloh. We're up to a force of 20,000 infantry. But we don't have enough guns. We don't have 2,000 guns anywhere. I think what we're going to do is we're going to spend a little bit of money to buy these Enfields, and we'll just have a smaller brigade that has Enfields. Enfields aren't as good melee weapons, but really efficient, really high-quality piece. We should have more of those coming in after this battle in the shop, so we'll go ahead and do that. Only 1,000 men, so we don't actually need a really large... We don't need a really experienced commander. I think a major is probably fine for this new unit. So they're going to have our best guns, but they're a brand new unit. They're inexperienced. They've got an inexperienced commander, but they've got our best guns, and they're in our 2nd Division. So just 900 or about 860 shy of having a full 1st Corps. 22,000 soldiers in that corps, 21,000 infantry, 1,100 artillery, 750 cavalry. The Battle of Shiloh is next. We've got 28 reputation, so no perk, but also no penalty. We've got 15 brigades to bring to the field. You can see here we're going to get 24,000 troops given to us for this fight, because we're still early on in the Confederate campaign. We're bringing 22,000 of our own troops, or 23,000 roughly, so we'll have just shy of 50,000 soldiers and 120 guns to attack the enemy at the Battle of Shiloh. I like that number. It seems to be a strong number. It's a little bit stronger than what the Confederacy historically brought to the battle. Let's go ahead and save. So far, I'm not living up to my reputation of being the butcher. We've got a little bit of extra money. We can go ahead and... I might as well spend it on supply. My only fear with spending this all on supply is if our supply wagon gets captured, this goes down to 0, and we've got to spend $35,000 to replace it. But this is a long battle. A lot of ammunition is going to be expended. Bringing the supply up to maximum, I think, is going to be important for us to have a successful fight. So there you go. We are 5-0 now as a commander. And we're starting to get some pretty strong traits. After this fight, I think I'm really going to focus on politics. We have the ability to have 2 corps now. We can have over 20,000 men in each corps. After this battle, we'll start to be able to bring more than 1 corps to the fight. So we're probably about done with army organization, and now it's really going to be about politics to give us more money, more recruits, and after that, it'll be about economy to drop the price of weapons, or maybe medicine to lower the number of casualties that you take, because medicine allows you to get some of those troops back after a battle who were casualties. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video here. We've won yet another victory. We are now 5-0 on our way to the Battle of Shiloh, which is coming up next. So with that being said, we are victorious. We have built a 20,000 plus man corps up, and I think we're ready for truly the first great battle. Bull Run is an interesting battle. It's kind of it can be a little bit of a back and forth battle. It can certainly be a challenge, especially from the Union side. But Shiloh is really the first epic, nail-biting battle in this particular game, and that's what we will see next time. With that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off here, so I hope you've enjoyed it thus far, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.